MSD. If you've been involved in hot rodding for any length of time, you'll understand what these three letters stand for. Multiple spark discharge, and it's a patented design by MSD ignitions that allow you to fire your spark plug multiple times as opposed to the single time of a factory ignition system. Now last year we took you for a tour through MSD ignitions to show you how they design, engineer and manufacture the most cutting edge ignition systems on the planet. And today we're going to give you a crash course on the difference between your stock ignition and an MSD ignition system. You can call it MSD Ignition 101, and we're not going to show you just how it works, but exactly what it can do for your hot rod. So you've probably heard that a multi-spark ignition gives you more horsepower and better throttle response, but the big question is why? Let's explain how multi-spark ignition works. With the stock ignition system, all you need is one small spark which combusts the mixture of oxygen and fuel in the cylinder. As you can see here, the stock ignition produces a single weaker spark, enough for a totally stock engine but not optimised for performance. When you begin to make performance upgrades to your engine, including free-flowing induction and exhaust, more air and fuel is required to maintain the correct air-fuel ratio. MSD's ignition boxes feature multiple sparks at lower RPMs, along with a stronger, hotter, higher voltage spark to completely ignite the mixture. Now that's easy to see in our video. Let's have a chat now about what MSD likes to call capacitive discharge. MSD uses capacitive discharge technology to create a very high primary voltage. What that means is that every spark that comes from an MSD ignition is an extremely high current spark. Now these high powered sparks ensure combustion of the fuel mix from everything from idle to high racing RPM. Also, for your daily driver or your street car enthusiast, you can run a larger spark plug gap. Now both of these things produce more power and performance. The next chapter in Ignitions 101 is choosing the right ignition for your application. MSD offer ignitions for everything from a 300 horsepower street car through to a 5,000 horsepower top fuel dragster. For example, take this. This is MSD's Digital 6. It's a digitally controlled ignition that can produce up to 535 volts, has the multi-spark functions, a built-in rev limiter and a two-step. With 135 millijoules of spark output, it's ideal for a serious street car, but if you've got a race car, then you're going to need something more serious. That's where the Digital 7 comes into play. This is Project Grandma. Now she's got an Edelbrock 555 cubic inch big block built by Pat Musey, and she's got nitrous. Now the engine makes around about 1100 horsepower, which means the combustion process is a lot more severe with a lot more air and fuel going into the cylinders. Now you need an ignition system that can combust and burn all of that mixture. This MSD programmable Digital 7 box has a number of upgrades that racers of all kinds, from drag to circle track, want and need in a race box. Number one, it features over 30% more spark energy than the 6 box with 190 millijoules per spark. That means it can support engines up to 2000 horsepower. Second of all, it's programmable with MSD's Pro Data software, allowing custom timing adjustments, nitrous boost and shift light activations, and even programmable RPM and time rev limiting maps. Finally, the 7531 includes data logging capability. Now let's say that maybe you've got a classic muscle car with points, or a newer late model that doesn't even have a distributor. Well, for our last chapter of Ignition 101, we're here to tell you that even you can be helped. The same type of technology found in the multi-spark ignition boxes is available for distributorless ignitions with coil per cylinder or coil on plug systems. MSD calls these systems the DIS, and multi-spark coil kits are even available for GM's LS vehicles. Finally, for all you old school points guys, any MSD ignition will hook up, or you can switch to MSD's ready to run distributor, which has MSD technology and the distributor all in one unit. Now hopefully you know a little bit more about ignitions and multi-spark and just how important that spark is to your engine's performance. That's it for Ignitions 101. If you need more information, just go to the MSD website at msdignition.com, and they've got plenty more in-depth information. Till next time, my name's Bucko. Thanks for watching PowerTV.